The Neonic Flare Titanium. Hello, everyone. It's Dawson here. We have another paddle from Neonic, the Neonic Flare 16 millimeter. The flare is 16 millimeters. It is the same shape as the Flare Prime X, the 16 inches long, 8 inches wide, standard body shape. It is a titanium paddle, so it is the polyester weave thread that you've seen famously talked about by people like Pickleball Pursuit on some of the other reviewers' pods and reviews. And let's dive into the review. So, the Flare, this is a fun paddle. Again, I think it's got some similarities and some differences to the Flare Prime X. I think I'll start with the differences. This is a much softer paddle. For me personally, this was my first titanium paddle. I briefly hit with Jim's J2 Ti, maybe for about a game and a half, really not a long time. And I was not really the biggest fan of how soft it was. And that's just kind of how I've noticed the surface of titanium to be is it's a very soft surface. It's very gritty as well. You can hear and feel that grit on this for sure. With that being said, you know, this is a fun paddle. If you're someone that really loves to dink and drop and place the ball in exact places, I think this is a great, all court leaning control paddle personally. That's where I would categorize the Flare for. The specs are almost identical to the Flare Prime X otherwise, the same 5.5 handle with the room that makes it up to 5.75 if you go all the way up the taper. For me personally, I like my handles right at 5.5. I like to have the extra taper room. I do the little trigger finger on the two-handed backhand, but there's enough room for a two-handed backhand as well. My flare came in at, and I'm not even kidding, 8.5 ounces, which is very heavy, especially for a standard shape paddle. So I didn't put any lead tape on it, nothing. All I did was put electrical protection tape around it, which has been pretty standard precaution for all of my paddles because I find edge guards are the first thing to go, and I do not want to lose edge guards on awesome paddles. So those are the only modifications I made, that outside of an overgrip. And so with that being said, I really like the construction of the paddle. Quite frankly, it doesn't need lead tape, I find. It plays great stock as is. If yours comes in a little lighter than mine, by all means, go for it. I would recommend probably the bottom corners, 4 to 8 o'clock down here, open up that sweet spot a little more, get the twist weight improved a little. With that being said, it already has good twist and swing weights. Again, very similar to the Flare Prime X. With that being said, some things you get from this that you don't get from the Flare Prime X are you get more forgiveness, you get more control, and you get that 16 millimeter feel, that true 16 millimeter feel. Now, I will give a lot of today's 14 millimeter paddles credit. They're making 14 millimeter paddles better. They make them feel like a 16 millimeter and they hit hard. They hit really hard. And so you kind of get the best of both worlds. So a lot of people are saying, what's so special about the flare? Well, if you're someone like me and you're more of a traditional 16 millimeter guy, then the flare is your way to go. So, with that being said, I think it's a very interesting and unique paddle. I'm looking forward to continuing to mix it in games here and there and, really see kind of what this titanium polyester weave thread surface is all about and if it can compete with some of these new and older surfaces. And so that definitely excites me. Now, a little bit more on the review. The Flare, again, discount code DDOG underscore pickleball will save you money at checkout, dropping the Flare's price from $119.99 to $108. This is a heck of a deal, guys. You don't want to miss out on this. If you're looking for a 16 millimeter standard shape paddle, you like, all court leaning control, definitely into that, higher control realm, and you want to see if titanium is the real deal, or you're someone that already really likes titanium, then I recommend getting one of these. The guys over at Neonic are having all sorts of sales for the holidays right now. Be sure to check those out as well. Again, discount code DDOG_pickleball at checkout will save you, percentage and money at checkout. It gives us a kickback. It allows us to do reviews like this. It allows us to get more equipment and things that we need to do reviews and helps support the channel as always. With that being said, be sure to be on the lookout for more info on the Neonics as we begin to do some further comparison videos with them as well. Thank you, and as always, stay classy.